So, Arsenal have agreed a deal in principle to sign an Invincible from back in the day as their technical director. Edu Gaspar, he won 2 league titles and 2 FA Cups. One of them league titles was part of a double season. The other was part of an Invincible season. So I'm hoping this deal comes through. I think it's a great move for him. I also think it's a great move for Arsenal Football Club. We have been linked with so many people for this job role, but I personally think you've got to go down the route of getting an ex-player in. Somebody who's quite high profile, has a lot of links, which he clearly does, and somebody who right now would maybe go and do a better job than just guessing on players. You know, Mislintat left after Gazidis left. He was only in his position for 14 months before walking out the door. We were linked with Monchi. That one never came through. He ended up back at Sevilla. He took the easy option. But Edu Gaspar, I would be over the moon. He is under contract right now. He is the coordinator for the Brazil national team. And apparently he is going to be leaving that position on the 7th of July, which is when the Copa America ends. So he's saying that he's going to have one more meeting with Arsenal just to finalise everything, just to go through everything with Arsenal, sign, seal and deliver it and make it official. But if you look across Europe, you've only got to have a look at Ajax. They've got an ex-player of ours, Mark Overmars. You look at Bayern Munich, I'm going to butcher this geezer's name, Salihamidzic, an ex-player of theirs, and Eric Abidal at Barcelona. So, you know, this is the way teams are going right now. You've only got to have a look at Man United right now. They are linking Rio Ferdinand to their director of football, sporting director, technical director, whatever they want to call the title. So, for me, I think it's a great move. It's somebody that, first of all, the fans know. First of all, the fans know he was a great player for us. Not the greatest player in the squad back then, but he was one of them players that if he was coming in to do a job, he would do that job 100%. He'd never let the club or the fans down. Like I said, he weren't the most technically gifted footballer, but you don't need technically gifted footballers all over the park. You've only got to have a look at Man City with Fernandinho and Liverpool with James Milner and Jordan Henderson. You need that type of workhorse in midfield that can just do the simple things. Get the ball, pass it to someone better. Edu Gaspar used to do that quite a lot for us. Don't get me wrong, he did have technical ability and he did score quite a few vital goals for Arsenal over the years. But I'd be over the moon if this guy came in as technical director for Arsenal. Obviously, we were linked with Monchi. That never happened. That was after Sven Mislintat left, which, funny enough, was after Gazidis left. So Gazidis brings Mislintat in. 5 months later, Gazidis says, yep, bye, see you later. Mislintat, we don't know why he left, but he left after 14 months in the role. Whether he was good or not, I don't know. You've got to look at some of the players he signed. Mavropanos hasn't really had any games for Arsenal, injured as well. Mkhitaryan, the link there, not really worked out. Aubameyang, yes, you could say he had a part in that. That's a hit, I suppose. He's top goal scorer for us. Who else he signed? Socrates, yes, he's had a hand in that. I'd say that was a hit. Lichtsteiner, flop. Bernd Leno, yes, another hit. So, hit and miss. There's a couple that have not really worked out right now. Guendouzi's another one. He's come in. He's been fantastic, to be fair. But it's his first season, so we see how he gets on in the future. But I don't know. Listen, when Mislintat left, everyone was in meltdown. The fan base were going, oh, who's going to sign the players? Who's going to sign the players? We're Arsenal Football Club. It doesn't matter, really, who is in that position. We have got pulling power, whether we're Champions League, Europa League, or Vauxhall Conference League. We will have some sort of pulling power to entice players to the club. Now, for me, when you have somebody that's played for the club working there, you've now got a footballing man on that side of things. Somebody that gets it. Somebody that gets a link to the fans. Somebody that the fans can go, do you know what? We rate him. We respect him. Because at Arsenal, there's an awful lot of people in higher up positions at this club that ain't got a clue about football. You've only got to look at our chairman, Chips Keswick. He don't care about football. This guy cares about horse racing. But he is the chairman of Arsenal Football Club. So for me, if this deal comes off, I'll be over the moon. It's somebody that I can identify with. Somebody that gets the club, gets the fans, was a winner at the club, most importantly. But not only that, he will have some sort of knowledge of the South American market. Remember back in the day when Arsene Wenger took over, he cornered that whole French market on his own. Now everyone's caught up. So if you can get a little one-up, and that could be a one-up for us over in that South American market. You know, we missed out on a player, Almiron, who went to Newcastle. Absolute baller, that guy. And he went for cheap. And he's injured right now, but you could tell that kid has got talent. Even when he started playing for Newcastle, you could see he's got something about him. He's direct, he runs at goal, he's got pace for days, literally days. The guy is rapid, he's technically gifted, and he is going places. Newcastle won't be his last destination, that's for sure. You've got to look at somebody like Gabriel Jesus at Man City. You know, they spent quite a bit of money on him. Yes, he don't get a sustained run in the team, but that's because Man City's team is just ridiculous. But when he does come in, the guy bangs goals every single time he is called upon. And another one, if you look at the fee they paid for him, it ain't that much money in today's market. You know, apparently we're signing a guy called Martinelli, a 17-year-old Brazilian. Whether Edu had a part to play in that, who knows? But he is signing for about £6 million. Like I said, 17 years old. Could be one for the future, definitely. And, you know, I personally think, and I've said this a long, long time, if you get South Americans in your team, they will do anything to win. Their will and desire to win football matches is ridiculous. Look at Luis Suarez. Look at him in World Cups and stuff like that. He's saving free shots at goal with his hands, getting a red card, and then they go and save the penalty or hit the bar, whatever it was. And they ended up getting through, I think. So, you know, they will do absolutely anything to win. And I am sick and tired of this football club buying players that not only don't really seem to care, they don't feel it. They've got no connection with the fan base. You know, like I said, the lack of appreciation was just a shambles from some of these players the other day. You know, the women's team came out, the under-18s team came out, and a couple of our players were just standing there with their arms folded. So, you know, if he can pull out a rabbit out of the hat like a Jesus or a Lozano or an Almiron, somebody in that mould that's going to be young, they're going to be cheap, they're going to have a great sell-on value if they hit the ground running. I'm all for Edu starting and taking the job role at Arsenal because, like I said, Arsenal Football Club are a massive football club. We will always have some sort of pulling power to attract players. Whether we can attract the top tier players, I'm not so sure. The next tier down, the Lacazettes, the Aubameyangs, etc., all day long we can attract them because we've got the money to pay for the fee. And I see a lot of people in my comment section saying, how are we going to compete with £40 million? The fees are not paid up front. So when we're getting rid of the likes of Cech, who's retiring, Welbeck, who's leaving, Aaron Ramsey, who's leaving, Lichtsteiner leaving, I'm sure there'll be a few more leaving. Them 4 players there have saved us nearly 400 grand a week. That 400 grand a week equates to 2 signings on 200 grand a week. We have got money to go and do the transfer fee. So I ain't got no issue with Edu coming in because if we can go and have a mix of go and get a decent player, go and add an unknown from South America, I'm all for that. Promote a couple of the kids, throw the kids in and have a go. You know, what have we got to lose? Because right now, everyone bigs up our players. Everyone says that this squad, they're so good, some of these players, and like, let's be real. They're a Europa League squad. Some of these players have been here a long, long time. And the ones that haven't been here a long time have still been here 2-3 seasons, barring the ones that came last summer and Aubameyang who came in January. They've all been here at least 2 seasons. They are still a Europa League squad. So what's the difference? Get rid of some of them. Get rid of the likes of Xhaka. If you can get 10, 15, 20 million for him, bin him. Get rid of him. You're taking another 90 grand off the wage bill. That 30 million quid, let's say we get 20 million for him over 4 years. That would be staggered at 5 million a season that we get paid for him. That 5 million pays somebody 100 grand a week. That's how it works. So we'll sell a Granit Xhaka for £20 million. He'll sign for, say, I'll just pick a team out, say Leipzig. They'll pay £20 million. That £20 million will be paid over instalments of the length of his contract at Leipzig. So let's say it's a 5-year deal. That would be £4 million. Let's say it's a 4-year deal. That would be a £5 million up front, then £5 million every year after until the end of his contract. Very, very rare in modern football does a team pay up front for the player in one hit. I think only Neymar, Ronaldo and a couple of others have ever had that. So if you could get rid of Xhaka and they give you £5 million up front, that funds one player on 90 odd grand a week for a whole year. That pays for him. Then you get the next instalment the following year. That then pays the next instalments for his year's wages. That is how it works. And we need to get rid of some of these players off the books. Go and find some talent, like a Torreira for 20 million, 25, whatever it was. Again, another South American. Go and find another Leno. Obviously not in that position, but maybe a right back or a left back or a centre back. Somebody of that ilk that is quite cheap, but has potential. Then go and throw in a couple of the kids from the youth team, the Smith Rowes, the Willocks, players like that. We will not be any worse off, I can assure you that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think Edu would be a good signing for us. If not, leave a comment down there and let me know as well. Let me know who you would rather as technical director. I know a lot of people favour Overmars. Let's be real, Overmars ain't leaving Ajax, and why would he right now? They're in a Champions League semi-final. We are a Europa League club. We need to be shopping in the next tier down, but also the bargain basement for youth prospects. So anyway, go back and check out my transfer video this morning. Stick the notifications on, subscribe, stick a thumbs up, and keep your eyes peeled for my transfer video at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Until then, I'm out of here. Laters, peeps.